Hello my Mercurial mercenaries, a quick, hopefully, follow-up video on my what's the worst album art for the best album. You guys answered in the comments in your droves. I put forward my 5 and I thought my number 1, Separations by Pulp, was pretty darned awful. And I didn't think it would necessarily be beatable, but I should never have doubted you. I should never have doubted any of you. What we're going to do now is we're going to look through some of your suggestions and we're going to hopefully, collectively, even though you've got no input because this is just a video, we're going to collectively decide upon what is the worst piece of album art for the best album. And of course, I have to take your word for it that some of these are great albums. Just like you had to take my word for it that Separations by Pulp, which no one's heard apart from me, is a good album. First of all, we've got, this is in no particular order. First of all, we've got Neox, who said, I never really liked Michael Jackson's Thriller album cover, but love the album. I kind of, this is like sacrilegious to say this because everyone loves Thriller, one of the biggest selling albums of all time. And what we faced, having to think about this, you, me, them, everybody, was the fact that it's hard to disassociate the album cover from the music, no matter how bad the album cover is. And I was sort of saying a similar thing with Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Shit album cover, but hard to imagine Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys without that particular cover. But let's just look up Thriller by Michael Jackson. Well, so I'm looking at it now. And, I mean, it's not, it's just a picture of Michael Jackson. My problem with Thriller, the album cover, is it doesn't, no, we can't have Thriller. It's all right. Thriller's all right. It's not great, but it's all right. Now, Neox also suggests A Dance of Death by Iron Maiden. Now, this is one that I could have put forward, except I don't think it's a great album. So it's hard for me to really mention it. However, holy hell. I mean, I suppose it would help to have some context. And we could probably read into what the context is supposed to be. Are they supposed to be real people in a kind of Edgar Allan Poe, Vincent Price setup, like a Mask of the Red Death? Unfortunately, it's just shit computer graphics and they all look like mannequins. And, oh my God! There's a, is this, let me look at, no, this is for real. Holy shit, this is for real. There's a baby wearing, I've never noticed this before, I've never spent any length of time studying this album cover because it's shit. There's a baby in a bikini sitting on the worst looking PS1 computer dog. It's a contender. I don't much like the album though, but it's a contender. I am not a number. Wants to say Black Sabbath Paranoid. Let's remind ourselves what Black Sabbath's Paranoid looks like. Is that the one with the like the red, green, blue sword doing that? Yeah. Right. Okay. Black Sabbath Paranoid. Yeah, I mean it's shit, but we're gonna find one later by Black Sabbath that takes the piss, takes the biscuit. Radiohead the Bends. Well, I'm aware of Radiohead the Bends. It's yeah. I mean, you associate the art with the album. I don't think Radiohead the Bends is the worst culprit, but it's not a great album cover. There you go. Project Floyd says 2, I'm not a number. Paranoid's bad, but Sabotage is worse. Now, what I think we're going to have here, let's put Sabotage on the screen right now. This cover is legendary, all right? This cover is legendary. In the past, I've read up on this album cover. This has a history. This album cover, it's a contender, isn't it? Let me get a pen and paper. Pen and paper in this world, right? I think Sabotage by Sabbath is going to be in your top 5, all right? Holy shit. Emerald says, the 1975, a brief inquiry into online relationships, and put it on the screen now. Emerald likes the album, but he says, come on, man. A white background with coloured squares, randomly placed with the text. It gives the impression that there is nothing remotely interesting on this album. I disagree, in as much as, for what a lot of people would consider a kind of boy band, rock band, this seems to me the difference between the Benz and OK Computer. And if I looked at that album cover, I would at least be thinking that this band was trying to get across the notion that they are intelligent or pretentious. Paul Genesis suggested The End of the Game by Peter Green, and I had never heard of this album, and I'm taking Paul Genesis' word for it that this is a good album. That is terrible, right? But also, I kind of want to buy that album and put it on my wall for the background of my Discover videos. It's a contender for the worst album cover of all time on a good album. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's not going on. So far, we've got Sabotage. He suggested Feed Time by Feed Time. I don't know if I know that. Feed Time by Feed Time. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. No, it's not contender. Psychic Powerless, Another Man's Sack by Butthole Surfers. Let's have a look at that one. That is right. Holy shit, that's terrible. Let's put that on my list. Psychic, Powerless. Yeah, that can go on the list. That is. You're absolutely right. That is shocking. That is terrible. That people are putting. I'm just looking through like Google. People are putting that on T-shirts. Holy shit. Oh dear. Paul Genesis. What do you say next? Bless the Weather by John Martin. A decapitated head. I think my problem is I don't know what some of these people are thinking. Happy Hour by The Humans. Is that the album cover? I'll take it. I'll assume that's the album cover. I mean, yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. Is that worse than Separations by Pulp? That is pretty bad. I think you've okay. I mean, honestly, Peter Green was a contender. But there's something about it I just think is fantastic. Mr. Floyd agrees that Bless the Weather's a good shout. Bless the Weather isn't great. But I'm not seeing it as the worst album art. MB says, No Love, Deep Web by Death Grips. Amazing album, but when you remove it from the black protective sleeve that hides it, the cover is literally an erect. Turn into Jonathan Ross then. Literally an erect wang with the title written across it with a pen. I lost the ability to read then. Yeah. This is appalling. This is appalling. Let's put it on the list. No Love, Deep Web. Right? So that's 3. We need 5. Rudy Sanchez says, Come Down Machine by The Strokes. Yep. Yeah, I remember when you first commented, I looked that one up. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. What's your opinions on that one, my mercenaries? I don't mind that one. John Ghost says, Democracy by Killing Joke. Pretty good album. The bizarre cover itself put me off from hearing it for a while. Oh, yeah, I remember looking this one up now. That is terrible. That's terrible. The thing is, right, people made these pieces of artwork. People believed in them to the extent of putting them on great big 12-inch squares to be viewed across the world. People believed in these things so much. They believed in it as promotion for their bands in an era where the artwork was important. Someone believed in this democracy by killing joke. Therefore, people looked at it. People looked at it. People looked at it. The person who made it. The band members probably looked at it. People looked at it and they okayed it. Therefore, there must be something redeeming in these pieces. At some point in time, someone looked at this and they didn't go, fuck that shit. They looked at it and went, yeah, that's all right. We'll put it on the list because that is shit. Democracy. Marty Cray mentions Iron Maiden's Dance of Death. Chris Middleton suggests End of Suffering, Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. I think this concept was done better by Pond with Tasmania. I'm not quite sure where the redeeming feature is here, but it's clean. It's clean. Cassidy Lingenfelter suggests Billie Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Now, she says, absolutely beautiful album. And while the cover does reflect the minimalist production, it's still a cringe-worthy picture of Eyelash with cataract eyes climbing out of a bed in her pyjamas. I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't see anything particularly wrong with this album cover. What do you guys think? I Am Not a Number, I Am Not a Number suggests Pearl Jam's Verses. Shite cover, great album. I replied at the time with, yeah, that cover put me off buying the album, but my mate had it and played it all the time, so I was all right. This album cover, it suggests to me that Pearl Jam are probably being contrary with this. Do you know what I mean? Probably being contrary. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we've got 4 on the list of them. We've got to be a little bit conservative because we've still got Rod Stewart to come. Right? Vania says the original cover to Megadeth's first album. I remember that cover. Let me just put it on the screen. Oh my god, that is appalling. I think in Megadeth's defense, they also thought it was appalling. If you can have a defense to this? Can you have a defense to this? At the moment, I mean, I know I said we're waiting for God. That's got to go on there. Hang on, killing is my business. Killing is my business, right? I mean, I know that Rod Stewart's still to come, and also the Edgar Winter band, whatever they're called. Vanya makes a case for some of the early Pink Floyd album covers as well. Yeah. A.F. Coley suggests the Alabama Shakes Sound and Colour. Let's look up that one. Alabama Shakes Sound and Colour. So they've made the words Alabama Shakes Sound and Colour, spelt wrong, out of pieces of wire and photographed it on a black background. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. AF, I don't mind that. Elias Gemtren says, LA Woman by The Doors. Disappointing artwork to a great album, especially after Morrison Hotel. Now, I know LA Woman. LA Woman is probably my favourite Doors album. Some of your criticisms of this whole concept when I first came up with it, apply here a little bit. I do associate the music of LA Woman with this album cover, therefore it's hard for me to say it's a bad... Actually, looking at it right now, that's a shit album cover, isn't it? That's appalling. That's terrible. That's terrible. The music deserves more than that album cover. That's terrible, I'll give you that. That's terrible. And Bob Marley's Exodus. Now, I'm not sure if I know that one. Hang on. Are we talking about that? Just like a gold cover with the word Exodus written on it. That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. I don't think it's going to make it into the top 5, but it's pretty bad. Satvik Doob says King Crimson is in the wake of Poseidon. It looks like it was drawn with crayon by a 4-year-old, but the album itself is quite good. Got to be careful with King Crimson. If I put King Crimson on the screen now, Robert Fripp will get this video blocked because he's a little bit of a... I want to say about things like that, but I won't say. Let me flash it on the screen. Hang on. Let's flash it onto the screen because I've made a comment where I said that King Crimson album is indeed horrific. So let's just. But I said I quite like how colourful it is. Let's just stick it on the screen. Hang on. King Crimson in the wake of Poseidon. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's not. Oh dear. That's not. Ooh. That's not the worst. Oh dear. Let's get it off the screen. Get it off the screen before I get a rock copyright thing with him. It's not the worst. What it's not. Daniel Sinnott says, "What it's not absolutely terrible. REM's Out of Time is just so blah." It is. And do you know what? I looked at some other REM album covers. They're all shit. They're all shit. Zane says the 2017 cover for Nervous Young Man by Car Seat Headrest. It's so boring. I understand why Will changed the original 2013 cover, but he could have at least done something interesting with it. And then I did a bit of Googling, and I said, which was the original? Him naked? Wearing the heart sunglasses? Yes. Why did he change it, and what did he change it to? And then Zane says, yeah, that's the original cover. Although I don't think he ever said exactly why he changed the cover. He basically just changed the cover to the same wall from the original, but completely grey. I think that... I agree with you, Zane. Very, very poor choice. And probably enough reason to not listen to that album, because the artist himself made a very poor choice. David Wilde suggested Trey Chic. Good for certain activities, but not for alignment with material therein. It got pulled from the shelves because of the artwork, and so we ended up with Say Chic. And I said, blimey, the replacement cover is still terrible. And it is, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Victory says Evil by Sonic Youth. Now I replied to that with, I almost like this one. Yeah! I mean, that probably is terrible. I quite like it. Is that wrong of me? I quite like that one. Explosive Note says, the first awful cover of a great album, which I remembered, is Napalm Death, Words from the Exit Wound. And I've put, wow, that is bad. So if I've put wow, that is bad. I've used 3 exclamation marks as well. So that must be terrible. Let's look at that one. That suffers a bit from the Iron Maiden Dance of Death, doesn't it? That's appalling. Does it make the list? What have we got? Sabotage, Psychic, Powerless, No Love, Deep Web, Democracy, Killing Is My Business. Does this beat any of those? No. Masterful Muffin says, Little Feat should be known for making great albums with often terrible album art. Waiting for Columbus and Down on the Farm come to mind. Right, and I've put, holy shit, these are real contenders. I think I might have tweeted one of these. Oh my god. How, I'm not sure if any of these can survive this. Watch this. Someone sat down and created this art, and then other people, the band, whatever, okayed it, and it went out into the world as a representation of their art. Little Feat's Waiting for Columbus. It's a tomato woman in a hammock. However, if I remember rightly, beating that one, right? If you think that can't be beaten, right? Down on the farm. Holy shit. Wait for this. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sorry to keep saying oh my god, but oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Right. Oh my god. I mean, does this beat sabotage? It was psychic powerless, no love, deep web, democracy, killing is my business. I think we lose democracy and down on the farm. Down on the farm. Holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. Evil White Clown Punk says, has anyone said the only way out is through by the 11th hour initiative yet? Yeah. I knew what I was going for. The idea of a glimpse of Vietnam, a glimpse of the world of the album, and also a little taste of Apocalypse Now just through the font typeface. Yeah, you got a point. Digiface agrees with Evil White Clown Punk and has a laugh at my expense, and also says, bloody hell, that Rod Stewart one. We haven't got to the Rod Stewart one yet. Holy shit. I actually say at this point that Rod Stewart cover is probably going to be the winner. Anyway, a stubborn only says Pink Floyd, Atom Heart Mother. That's one with the cow, isn't it? I quite like that album cover. Felt the Splendor of Fear. Right, it's a naked woman with people climbing. Oh, and oh. Splendor of Fear coming out of her bits. Okay, it's interesting. The verb urban, you put urban rhymes, you mean urban hymns. Yeah, the verb's urban hymns is terrible, awful. Ugh. Pfuh. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. The Doors Alley Woman, yep. The Beach Boys Sunflower. Do I know that one? It's on par with the verb's urban hymns. Wow. People were making choices, artistic choices. They were looking at these things and going, "Oh, that's good," or you know, that's what are we going to put as the album cover then? No, hold it up. There you go. What do you think to this? And they're looking at it, going, "Oh, yeah, oh yeah." I'll just stand at the back wearing a cowboy hat. You can stand next to me wearing a red jumper with your arms behind your back. And just everyone just basically just hug a load of kids. And Brian Wilson looks like he's, well, I can see he's putting a hat on a young baby, but it looks like he's sort of checking the baby for nits. Ugh. Frank Drebin says, Pablo Honey by Radiohead. And I replied, have I finally found someone who thinks Pablo Honey is a great album? Lobiani TV says, definitely David Bowie's Reality. And I hadn't... And I looked at it. Holy hell. Funny enough, Kieran Sawar said, whoa, no! Reality's album art is pretty as hell. And then Podrick Floyd chimes in with, what about Bowie's Hours? And I had to, I don't know why I'm reading this out, I could just talk to you now, but then I replied with, and this is true, I somehow missed these Bowie album covers. I hold him so high in kind of artistic esteem. And when I look at the absolute beauty of an album cover like Black Star, just crisp, clean, beautiful. This is terrible. This is terrible, but it's not a contender against Down on the Farm. Tony Robinson says, Sonic Youth, Daydream Nation. Dinosaur Jr., You're Living All Over Me. Rage Against the Machine, Evil Empire. Mudhoney, Vanishing Point. And he says, Number 1. I love Pink Moon and its album cover. And this album, he's going to mention, I love as well, but definitely not its album cover. Nick Drake, 5 Leaves Left. This is a terrible... As I say, back to Toby. I've decided I don't like any of Nick Drake's album covers. Thank God for the music. Michael Crawn. He opted for items that he owned in his collection. And he went for King Diamond's The Eye, Dollskin's Love Is Dead and We Killed Her, and Weather Report, Heavy Weather. And I replied with, that Dollskin cover is an odd one. I want some of these on my walls. I mean, that is fantastic. Love Is Dead and We Killed Her. The colouring's right. I've got an orange wall here. I could buy that. I could buy that and put it up there. I kind of need Peter Green's The End of the Game and Dollskin's Love Is Dead and We Killed Her. In fact, I need to buy these. So I need to buy Peter Green and I need to buy Dollskin. Right, so we've got 2 lists now. We've got the list of got the list of the shit, and we've got the ones I'm going to buy. These are fantastic. Peter Green and Dollskin, fantastic. What are we talking about here? It's brilliant. What planet are you on, Michael? This is great. It's a great album cover. Gunner368 says, well, almost all album covers from David Bowie fall into that category. Yeah. He needs to choose one, so he says, they're not all great albums, so I'll choose Hunky Dory, since it's a consistently good album with a horrendous cover. Yeah, that is a horrendous cover. I think what we're finding here is that I think a lot of us hold David Bowie musically up here. And visually, he was up there. With everything he did, like The Man Who Fell to Earth and all of his onstage personas, and he was a man who was into the music and the visuals, and yet you look at some of his album covers and they're shit. Also these, Nirvana in Utero, very, very ugly. Yeah. Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger, just bad. It was terrible. Rolling Stones, Let It Bleed. And then we go into a little bit of a discussion where I said, actually, Let It Bleed's all right, you know. And then Gunner368 said, what, you think A Picture of a Cake is great? And I said, well, you look a bit closer at the cake. It's like in the old days when you used to stack records up. And then when one record finished, the next one would like fall. So you could listen to multiple records, and it's like they've done that with so they've thought, what can we put on the record player other than records? We put like cakes, and I think there's a tire and the actual original tape of the music and stuff. It's not great. It's not great. Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. Actually, yeah. One of my favourite Dylan albums. It's not the greatest. Let me just put it on the screen. There, you're right. It's terrible. It's terrible. Air, Talkie Walkie. What's that one? Let's look that one up. Air, Talkie Walkie. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I quite like that. It's all right. I quite like that. MGMT, congratulations. Yeah. Yeah. The MGMT fans keep telling me that they love that album cover. But, yeah, it's pretty shit, isn't it? It's pretty shit. Animal Collective, Merryweather, Post Pavilion. Yeah, it's like they just Google imaged an optical illusion and stuck it on their album cover. For such a clever, innovative, kind of game-changing album, Merryweather, Post Pavilion has a shit generic album cover. Flynn says, here are some that come to mind. Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. Holy crap. I mean, I know that's an album cover that I have seen before, but what is Art Garfunkel doing behind Paul Simon? Animal Collective, Strawberry Jam. Ooh. Which immediately gets stuck up for by Samo, who says, the Strawberry Jam cover is cool as hell though. And then Flynn, even though he suggested it, says, Samo, I know. I'm saying it could look gross to some people. Flynn, you backed down so quickly. You chose it. You thought it was a crap cover because it came to mind. And then someone else says it's cool as hell and you immediately go, yeah, I'm not saying I think it's terrible. I'm thinking someone else. No, look. Right? That's pretty. It's ugly. Not sure what more to say, really. Led Zeppelin 3. Yeah, Led Zeppelin 3 is a shit album cover. Teenage Fan Club, Bandwagon-esque. Let's look that one up. I vaguely remember it. Was that the bright yellow one? Yeah, okay. Bright yellow and fluorescent. Fluorescent yellow and pink. That is shit. Its only redeeming feature is perhaps the album title itself reflects on the album cover. Kanye West, The Life of Pablo. It's just a bit dull, isn't it? Just a bit dull, that cover. Death Grips, No Love, Deep Web. I think it'll be hard pushed to remove No Love, Deep Web from our top 5 because it's just. I mean, I'm sure they think they're being clever, you know, and it's like an art project where you try to do something that's horrific, you know, and off-putting. It's almost like something the Sex Pistols would have done in the 70s. Fine, but it's just shit, isn't it? It's just shit. Lewis says, the cover of Emergency and I by the Dismemberment Plan looks as if they just asked someone to make something in paint in 5 minutes. Agreed, that's just terrible. Forgot to mention, they only come out at night by the Edgar Winter Group. That is scary. Holy crap. Sabotage. Psychic Powerless, No Love, Deep Web, Down on the Farm, Killing Is My Business. Psychic Powerless, you're gone. Holy shit. They only come out at night. They only come out at night. Replaces Psychic Powerless. Tom Robson says, in my opinion, Meddle is the only one that Storm Thorgerson didn't really get right for Floyd. Let's just remind ourselves what Meddle looks like. It's shit. And it will not. It's not going to remove. They only come out at night. Citizen Scrib says Stephen Stills, self-titled. Where do I collect my prize? And then I put, now that in capital letters is an album cover. Stephen Stills sitting in the snow next to a pink giraffe. Yes. Okay. So which one are we going to lose? Sabotage. I mean, I'm kind of has to stay. No Love, Deep Web. Terrible. Down on the Farm. Appalling. Killing is my business. You're gone. Killing is my business. You're gone to be replaced by Stephen Stills. Okay. Right. Church says congratulations by MGMT. I agree. Yeah. A Stubborn Only says, no, I love that artwork. Oh, God almighty. 3D said, George Harrison, Cloud 9. Now, this is so amazing that when I read, I put, wow, yes, right. This is so amazing that when I saw this, I immediately made it my Twitter profile picture. Stephen Yank chimed in with this is the winner here. Although saying that, why Moran, and I never saw this comment. Why Moran said, yeah, but it's also not a very good album. Now, is it not a very good album? Let me just check, because if it's not a good album, it can't. Oh, holy shit! Right, this probably goes into the top 5 if it's a good album. Let me just check something about George Harrison's Cloud 9. Let's just Wikipedia it. Cloud 9 is the 11th studio album by English musician George Harrison. The album was recorded and released in 1987 after a 5-year hiatus. The hit single Got My Mind Set on You from this album re-established Harrison as a critically acclaimed and commercially significant recording artist. I liked Got My Mind Set on You. I 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 loved that song when I was a kid. Although recently I found out it was just a cover. What else was on it? If there's another good song on it, it can stay. Right. So back when we was Fab, the one with Ringo Starr in carrying that ladder, was it? Now that can stay as a good album. That means that is staying as a good album. Which, holy shit. Holy hell. Sabotage by Black Sabbath. No Love, Deep Web. Down on the Farm. Stephen Stills. They Only Come Out at Night. Oh my god. I can't believe I'm doing this, but that horrific album cover by Death Grips is gone. No Love, Deep Web, gone. And Cloud 9 by George Harrison. We've still got Rod Stewart to come. Corncob Boy says, The Books, The Way Out. That's not the worst. That's not the worst album cover I've ever seen. I mean, it's a little bit like The Only Way Out Is Through by THI, isn't it? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Shh. I'd like to put a drum roll here now, but we won't. Here we go. Mystery Jack says, Rod Stewart's An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down. Creepy as fuck. Always has been, always will be. I don't know how to express. We have an old man in a dirty old Mac running around in a field with a young child. I've looked at what songs are on this album. It looks like a really good album. And I'm quite surprised that I've never seen this album cover before. But what that Rod Stewart cover is spectacular. Sabotage, Cloud 9, Down on the Farm, Stephen Stills, They Only Come Out at Night. I can't believe I'm doing this, but Sabotage, which is a potential winner, is gone. And an old raincoat takes its place. Bitfrost says, Look at Yourself, Uriah Heep. Oh yeah. That's the mirror cover. So it's called Look at Yourself, and then when you pick the album up, it'll be a mirror, so you'll be looking at yourself, which conceptually is interesting. However, that is shit. Stefano Padilla says, I love Animals by TTNG. But the album art is so plain, boring and straightforward. It just has the animals from the song names on the cover. It's not great. It's not great. But it's not a contender. Victory says the Beatles' White Album. I mean, I suppose, you know, is just a plain white album cover. I suppose technically that's as shit as anything else. I don't think conceptually it's similar to that Uriah Heep one. Conceptually though, it wasn't. What should we put on the cover? Let's put nothing on there. Let's just, I don't know. Because we call it the White. I know it's not called, but it's just called the Beatles. But because we call it the White Album and it's white, we call it the White Album because it's white. I suppose if they'd made it any other colour, like they made it beige, we'd call it the Beige Album. My favourite album's that dub, the Beatles Beige Album. Evil White Clown Punk, in no particular order. Webb Pierce's Golden Favourites. Bonanza TV's original cast. Ponderosa Party Time. Norma Jean, Let's Go All the Way. Chet Atkins, Teen Scene. Elvis, Separate Ways. Chet Atkins, Teen Scene. I think he's wearing Kurt Cobain's cardigan from his Unplugged appearance, isn't he? Lachlan Spivey says, Soccer Mommy, Lucy. I replied with, well, I can certainly tell what the album's called from a mile away. Whack Calzone says the Texas Jerusalem Crossroads by Lift to Experience. Holy shit, some of the bands you talk about, I have no idea what you're talking about. Wow. Wow. Sharp Moto says Give 'Em Enough Rope by The Clash. That's a bad cover. That's a bad cover. I said, reminds me of playing High Noon on the Commodore 64. For that reason, I'll give it a pass. That stands to this day. I'll give it a pass. Green Man said, Deftones, Around the Fur. And I replied with, how the hell did the band see that and think, we gotta have that shit photo as our cover? Dudumsky said the Drums self-titled album is the worst I can think of. Gang of Four's Entertainment could have had a bit better art going on with it. Jonathan E.J. Moss said, any Oasis album cover is terrible. And I replied with, I quite like Definitely Maybe though. David Dwayne said, Queen of the Stone Age, Lullabies to Paralyze. Lullabies to Paralyze. That looks like an old ZX Spectrum game cover. Yeah, that's pretty shit. It's hard to imagine that someone actually looked at that and went, yeah, that's good, let's just stick that in all the shops. That can represent my music. Tim Gardner suggested Warrior on the Edge of Time by Hawkwind, and I replied with, holy hell, that's so bad, I think I like it. Yeah, that's terrible, but I do kind of like it. I do kind of like it. J.H. Marwood says, what do you think about The Car by Declan McKenna? It's a pretty solid record, but I've always thought the cover art was kind of generic and uninspired. And Jean-Pierre agrees with him. Washington Silver says, Arctic Monkeys, Suck It and See. A lot of people suggested Suck It and See, but it is not bad enough to remove these. Tame Impala's says Metallica's Black album cover. It's like, it's like the White album, isn't it? I don't know. Seeps mentioned Talking Heads 77. Just said it's just really ugly. And I replied with, I think I dislike all Talking Heads album covers. Guitar 1573 also gives a vote to Led Zeppelin 3. Radiohead's In Rainbows. Yeah, I don't remember ever really particularly liking Radiohead's In Rainbows as an album cover. But I always think of that album really as only existing in ones and zeros anyway. I mean, that's certainly the benefit of buying something physically and truly associating a picture or an image or any kind of visuals with the music. Samo says, The Cure's self-titled has an awful cover, but it's a brilliant and criminally underrated album. And I replied with, children's art on an album cover. I'm losing my voice from talking for so long. This video is going to be incredibly long. Rule number 1, never, ever put your kid's artwork on an album cover, no matter how cute you think it is. Never, ever. That guy, 1805, says Diamond Dogs by David Bowie doesn't look right. I never much liked that cover. Right, we've got to it. That's it. So our top 5, in no particular order at this point in time, is An Old Raincoat, Cloud 9, Down on the Farm, Stephen Stills, They Only Come Out at Night. I think we need to declare a winner. I've taken from the viewers' comments, I have reduced the options of the worst album art from the best album to 5, and you're going to pick the winner. Now, I know that I have already shown you a few of these in the past, and I know we've had a laugh about the Rod Stewart cover, and I know you're predisposed to pick the Rod Stewart cover because it is the worst album cover of all time. However, here we go, right? These are the 5. Let's do it in the order on what I've got them on this piece of paper. Right, so first of all this is Rod Stewart's "An old raincoat won't ever let you down."
Says every paedophile.
Straight in there with paedophile. I've avoided saying the word paedophile on this video. It's one of those words that I'm sure if you say it out loud, it... Right, so, next. That's your choice, right? So let's put that over there. You can still see it. Right, next. This is George Harrison's Cloud 9. Right? Now, I mean, he's just standing there, smiling.
But is he on a cloud? Like,
I don't know if anyone's thought. I don't know if anyone's thought that deeply about it.
Yeah, what's with the shades?
So your first question is he on a cloud?
Where is he that he's in a t-shirt?
Rock stars all wear
those shades.
Rock stars. I'm sure that.
But like mirror shades.
But I'm sure that Rod Stewart is behind the camera on an old raincoat, whatever, let you down, wearing a pair of shades. If you're a rock star, you wear shades. Okay, anyway, right, so that's your next choice, right? Your next choice, we can put that on, we'll put that over here, so you can still see it.
If the pedo in the Mac was wearing shades, he'd look a bit more like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, all right. Next one. This is Little Feet's Down on the Farm. Now, I know I've shown you this before. This is quite spectacular because it's a female duck, right? Sitting next to a pool, but I've only just noticed now there's a tiger on the other side of the pool watching her, him, her, it.
Sat with his feet just dangling in the water.
Yeah. Is he? Oh, hang on. The duck is painting her nails.
With
wearing stockings and suspenders.
Wearing gloves?
Yeah. Wearing... No. She's got feather hands. She's got feather hands. A duck wouldn't have nails. That's her wings. Then again...
Talons.
At least she's wearing stockings. I mean, Donald Duck was happy to go around with his cock hanging out.
You have quite a penchant for, like, animated animals, don't you?
We won't go there.
She's a little bit caramel bunny.
We won't go into fancying. Right. So, right, look, I've got them all lined up there. Look, this is good. This is good, right? Next. This is Stephen Still's self-titled album where he is sitting outside in the snow next to a pink giraffe.
A tiny pink giraffe.
It's a tiny pink giraffe.
Tiny pink.
He's sitting outside in the snow. He hasn't even got a coat or a hat on, but he's sitting next to a pink giraffe. All right, okay. Put that one there so you can still see it. There it goes, there. Finally, now brace yourself. The Edgar Winter Group, they only come out at night. Words fail me.
No, I find that the least disturbing, in fact.
Really? Holy shit! You find the Edgar Winter Groups, they only come out at night, the least disturbing. Yeah, okay, so they're all on the screen.
It looks like if Grayson Perry was asked to model probably a couple of decades ago, but that I don't even find as strange.
They're all just actually all those album covers are disturbing, and now I'm looking at them. Perhaps George Harrison's is actually what I thought was probably the winner, is maybe the least disturbing, which is the worst album art on the best album. It's Rod Stewart, isn't it?
It's Rod Stewart.
It's Rod Stewart.
It's Rod Stewart because George Harrison just looks. It's just
happy.
Unnecessary. Yeah, he's happy. Don't like the mirrored shades. Not really sure whether he's really playing that guitar or not.
He's not. No, that's such a probably a non-guitar player's thing to say. So you're concerned as to whether he's playing the guitar or not.
Well, I'm concerned that it all looks a bit staged and a bit strange.
He's standing on a cloud.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
The Stephen Stills. I don't know where the giraffe just rocked up from.
Right, so let's get rid of
the
George
tiny
Harrison.
giraffe.
George Harrison's gone. Right.
Yeah.
Next.
Stephen Stills.
Right. Stephen Stills.
Gone.
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 Right. Gone. Right. So it's between
Now,
Little Feat, Edgar Allan Poe, and Rod Stewart.
Little Feet is bizarre, but it is only.
It is a bit.
It's
It is a bit.
But you know what? Like this, the head scarf turban thing and the painted nails. It's a bit like Amy Winehouse.
Headscarf
going
turban.
on.
I think he's been in the duck has been in the shower and she's got her hair in a towel.
Yeah, a hair turban.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's painting her nails. Like, that is no more.
She's got
weird.
human legs.
No, she's got duck legs without webbed feet. Like, imagine that's what duck's legs. Like.
It is a duck, isn't it? It's not just a.
It is. I think it's a duck.
Yeah. All right.
If it's not a duck, it's a really, really unattractive woman. So I'm going.
Well,
With it's a duck.
Well, hang on. It depends whether. I mean, I'm not. Is she unattractive?
If she's a woman, then yes.
If you do that, I'm now holding my can over the face. Is that unattractive?
No, but that equally could be men's legs, or it could be
true.
other things.
It could definitely be Edgar Winter Group's legs. Right. So which one are we knocking out? We got 3 choices. Which one are we knocking out?
Right. I'm knocking out Little Feet because
Little Feet's gone.
It's just adoring. It is like Cadbury's Caramel Bunny or something else.
Right, next. Right, so this is it then.
I don't find
which one wins.
I don't find anything ultimately that strange about the slightly androgynous.
No, there's nothing wrong with being androgynous.
Yeah. So that to me, there's nothing. It's different, but there's nothing ultimately like really weird and wrong about it.
Okay.
However,
So-
I cannot get over the sinister imagery of the man in a Mac with the caption "An old raincoat never lets you down," wearing a Mac, entertaining a child. in the park.
Right. I understand. Right, but let's be devil's advocate here for Rod Stewart here. He likes his raincoat. And that, in a similar way to my favourite ever TV show, Columbo wore the same raincoat basically for 20, 30 years. And Columbo's raincoat never let him down. So, and back when this was released, that was probably just when Columbo was first on the telly. So it could be that Rod Stewart has a thing for his raincoat. The cover... if you notice, the old man is not leading the child. The old man is being led by the child.
Well, you can see what you want.
The old man might be the child's father, uncle, granddad. She might be she's in her pajamas. That's weird.
Yeah.
She's leading him. And he is just going, that's brilliant. I'm running around.
Yeah.
He might immediately, the minute click, that's the photograph, yeah? The minute that the photograph's over, he might just let go of her hand and go and have a pint.
Now, you say he's not leading the child. What's to say he's actually not stepping what would appear to be sort of backwards into the picture from his left foot, pulling the child that way, and the child is actually trying to break off and run towards the cameraman who she thinks is going to give her some sort of sanctuary.
She's smiling. Is it a she?
I'm not even sure, and to be honest, that just adds to it.
She's wearing blue.
Nothing wrong with that.
But no. But back then that would have been. She'd been wearing pink, wouldn't she? Back then.
She might have been the lucky sister of a line of brothers who got to wear a lot of blue clothes on hand-me-downs.
Okay. So anyway, so the winner of the worst album cover for the best album is Rod Stewart's "An Old Raincoat Won't Ever Let You Down." Are we happy?
Yeah.
Right. Good. Oh, I need to oil my chair. Over. Thank you everybody for contributing. Over and